of the strongest natural anti-inflammatories. So we got him the cord, he chewed on the cord, next day, up and running. It's extremely strong. Turmeric is extremely strong. So when I had a hockey injury, they put a whole poultice of turmeric, wrapped me, and whole swelling disappeared.
So do you swallow the pineapple core or you just chew on it?
He was chewing like a mad person.
But you don't swallow it.
And all the members were staring and watching. All the members are watching him. He's sitting down chewing on the apple. I said, we don't need the whole class here. Please go in and affect.
But I think with some medications, especially like the cardiac medications with Plavix and blood thinners, you can't have any like pineapple, grapefruit, any of those.
No, they freeze your blood like crazy.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, well, we took the chance that was the main thing, to fix him rather than worry about, like, nobody asked him, are you taking any other medication? He was bleeding out and, yeah.
Well, I only worry about adverse effects, so.
At that point, cycle of one. Save the guy, worry about the side effects later. Which is my philosophy. Give the embers antibiotics, then when they get home, they can deal with it. And my one doctor is missing in action, so I worry about what will happen when we go overseas. Do we have nurses here?
Will he come is the question.
No shot.
Does anybody have any medical? Talk to me.
Doctor in pharmacy.
Oh, how come this doesn't come out in the interview? Good.
He's keeping it close.
Good. So you can tell me, because we have a liability issue, you can tell me, Farrell, hit them with this or give her that. You're coming, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so here we are, couple of stories. We have a homework. This is one story and then a homework. This was so bad here, folks, that parents, listen up now, it was a mess. The whole country was down. Parents were telling their kids that they couldn't afford them. So parents were telling their kids, teenagers, you're gonna say that. Sorry? You can tell your kids, there is a precedent in history. I'm not kidding you. So parents were telling the kids, leave home. We can't afford you. And so what happened is I had a member in my class who said that his dad was told that by his granddad. So the Ember's granddad told the Ember's dad, you're kind of going to have to leave. You're 13, 14, whatever, because we can't afford you. So this kid goes to school for a couple of days, confused and traumatized. Imagine being told, like, this week, you kind of have to go off somewhere, you know? And so completely traumatized. He's walking back from school, like, okay, my dad said I gotta leave home, go somewhere. Comes by a railway crossing. There's a train going by, and almost 25% of the country was hobos. The origin is mysterious of this word. These were transient people. Was it homeboys? Nobody knows what their origin is. It's out there, but these were 25% of the country were moving around unemployed. The trains, the freight cars were full of them. There is footage. They had their own language. So they would go from house to house and they would write with a chalk on the side of the house. It was that bad. They had symbols like something like this. It would be a nice house, you will get food and shelter. Or you would have this. It means don't go there, they have a gun. Or might be this. Watch out, there's a dogs. Or they will give you food for work. Or they will give you some food but tell you to move on. Or they will let you sleep in the barn. So they would mark on the chalk outside the house. They had it's on the website somewhere, it's on the internet. Send me a link, someone. They had their own language. So anyway, so these hobos were going by on the train, and this kid staring at them, the train's moving slowly, and the kid makes eye contact with one of the hobos. The trains were full of them, by the way. The guy puts his hand out. This Ember's dad, the kid, drops his book bag, grabs the hand, climbs on, never goes back home again. And I thought, my gosh, what an amazing story. And guess what? Smithsonian Magazine, the next one, this is so weird, had an article on the Great Depression, and this story was apparently very common. And oh my gosh, this is exactly the same story. It was like a month later or whatever. Very common. It happened a lot. It wasn't isolated. So this is how bad it was. The Great Depression. And so homework for you, this is the homework for which I got a grant or an award from the GE Foundation to design a radically different homework. So I designed this one. I didn't realize I was going to win. I won. So the homework is go and look at this photograph, one of the most iconic photographs of the last century, Migrant Mother. And that is what's in the lobby here, outside. It's a gift from the class, one of the Ember classes. Iconic photograph taken by Dorothea Lange, one of the Great Depression photographers. So look at this picture and tell me what you see. And going back to the earlier Vicky question, it can be one line, it can be one page, it can be a paragraph, it could be 11 pages. But I want introspection. The reason I'm giving you this homework is it becomes very easy to look at all these lines on a board, different colored lines on a board, and then go home and have a $9 latte. You know, these become clinical, devoid of any real impact. So, I do not want macro. I don't want colored lines on the board. I want you to see the true impact of bad macro policy. Bad macro can be worse than a bad war.
Yes.
And so, this is the impact of bad macro. So I want introspection. Listen carefully now. Please do not give me macro. This is an important homework. Do not tell me her C-bar crashed. Her IS curve was shot to the left. And you know what, Christian, I'm laughing. There will be about 15% of the class who will say, here is the IS element. I don't know what happens. Do not give me macro. Tell me what you see. What's the introspection? Some people gave me poetry. Some people say in China, some people tell me this is what my mom looked like when she would talk about the Cultural Revolution. It was 10 years of sheer hell. When people like you and me, you are the intellectual elite. We were sent off, 10 years of our lives ruined. Sent off to the farms to learn from farmers. Many of us would die. So they said that's what she looks like when she talks about. Others from the partition, India, Pakistan, said this is what they look like when the partition must happen. Some people had their kids look at it. So one kid said, she looks like a woman who has never smiled before. So you can talk to your kids and see what they say. But I want introspection. Don't give me macro, and don't go poking around the website. I don't want to hear, she was out collecting peas and then the car broke down. It's on the website. I don't want that. Begging you, don't give me anything that's on a website. Introspection, what you see. I had a guy who was an art critic in the program. And he said, I just love this picture because you can, the way it's composed, you can walk right up to her without invading her privacy. Then I had a guy in Ember, a French guy, I love the guy, Johnson & Johnson actually, and now he is in Pfizer, he's at the C-level in Pfizer, Patrick Corbell. He said, Farokh, I know her. But this is a doctor. He said, I met her. I met her in Bosnia. Because he worked with Doctors Sans Borders. So this is the, the global company of doctors that goes where there are crises. Doctors Sans Borders. And other charities and support. And so he said, I met her in Bosnia. I met her in Rwanda. I actually met her in Somalia. I know this woman. I met her in the refugees in Myanmar. I know her. It was just an amazing, amazing one. And then one from my evening class, interestingly, gave me the picture of my grandmother and similar pictures of a mom with 3 kids from Syria, from Rwanda, from various countries, juxtaposed. He said, "Farooq, they're all over." So now 15% of you will not get it. Will crash and burn. Farooq, I don't know what you're looking for. That is fine, because you know what? You can't get wine from a bottle of beer. Maybe you know me. Shandana says it like it should be said. No matter how much Adam Smith had to, no matter how emotive it might be, it is not just for Emma, talking of in life in general, it is not possible to get wine from a bottle of beer. You can try everything. So that's okay. I'll take 85%. Well, I don't want she looks like Steffi Graf. So, but Prabandhan, you can do no wrong. After those pens, you can write that. Show it to you. You got kids? Of course. Show it to the kids. Some of the kids. So the guy, Vladimir Bruchik, who wrote the hyperinflation story, he showed it to his daughter, who commented on it. She was a little kid. So when I saw him on his way to Ningbo, because he took a job, he quit Harvard to go to Ningbo. And I said, "So how is daughter?" And he went, "Oh, you mean daughter?" Doctor from Johns Hopkins. I said, "Oh my God." The one who commented on my grandmother, yeah. And she still remembers the homework. I said, "My God." So, last story. The Tanzanian ambassador to China was in my class, Charles Sanga. And he was so taken by this homework that he gave it to his friend, Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela, Charles had this in his office. He said, "Farooq, this reminds me of the power of bad macro. This picture is haunting. It's accusing. It's accusing us of bad macro." And he gave it to Nelson Mandela, who also apparently was in his office. And so this picture has legs. It's gone, it's moved. And Charles, who was a graduate of our Beijing program, I think he's in an NGO now. He was a commencement speaker there. Great guy, great guy. So there you are. My grandmother has legs. And she's all over the place. One year, somebody photoshopped her and made her look like, I'll show you, I've got a picture, made her look like an Ember woman. So, hair, scat, pearls, Ember outfit, you know, and an executive. This is what she would look like. By the way, that lady is only 31 years old. 31 or 32. So, this is what she would look like in Ember. Oh my gosh, there was global outrage. People were freaking out. They said, "Look, no. Take this off. You don't mess with that picture." So, you know, like Mona Lisa, you see Mona Lisa all managed, right? And so on and so forth. Not my grandmother. So that was taken out. There was a global outrage. Outrage from Japan, outrage from everywhere. So it's that iconic. And it's one of the most important, there's an exhibition of the most important photographs of the last century. The poster for that exhibition was this, my grandmother. It was in Shanghai actually. So when I gave this to my class in Shanghai, there was a lady from Boeing called Kat Felker, so I showed them this picture and she went, wait. I said, what's happening? I just saw her. I said, where? We're in Shanghai. How? Then I go for dinner that night and there are these stacks of magazines for expat restaurants called That's Shanghai. And the cover of the magazine was that. So next I picked up and I said, Kat, did you see this? She said, oh yes. And that was the exhibition of the most important thing. So I can go on and on. That's due on the last day of class, Vicky, on the final exam day. Thank you. Let's
So
power
these,
up.
I'm sorry, Professor, these 2 homeworks are due the final for the last day of class?
The homework was right about your introspection first one's due next class, which is in a couple weeks. The next one is due the last class, which is today.
Got it.
That's what it sounds like.
Help me. How does James know this and nobody else? How does this
Because
work?
he's the only one that can hear you.
James is the conduit. James is the junction point.
So, Adam Smith homework is when you see me next.
The 11th.
Whenever that is, 3 weeks from now. This one is on the last day of the semester. Make it worthwhile. This is a good one, which I gave you. Make it worthwhile.
Are we gonna share it?
You know, so I ask permission. Some of them are just so good, Angela, but I have to ask permission. Some of them are so poignant and personal that I have to ask permission. But some of them I've kept for years and years. They're stored in a little, I print them out now and store them. Some of them are just, wow. Some of them are, her IS got hammered. And her LM was traumatized. And just, yeah. I'm sorry. You have a question?
Nope.
Okay. Let's change gears. Let's go into chapter 10. So seriously, Louise, you can't hear me?
It's challenging.
Still is?
Is it microphone position this time, or is it volume?
No, but that's fine. That's fine.
The
Just
question is,
don't mess with
You had
it.
your top button at the beginning, which brought it closer to your face.
He said that move the mic a little closer to your
You had your
voice.
top button at the
Help me, please.
Show him the way, buddy. Or you can just keep flying too.
How about now?
Much better.
How about now?
Much better.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. Just let me know, guys, okay? It's very important. You're paying a lot of money, so let me know. And this thing is temperamental. It might work for a few minutes, and then it goes out. That was brilliant turning that, but apparently someone's gone down below and adjusted stuff there, so.
I honestly think that this mic is better than the other mic, like from a quality of sound perspective, and then we can figure it out.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
It's clear. Yeah, it's not long.
So I'm gonna stop using this guy now.
Yes.
Yeah, don't use that one.
That was supposed to be what we are supposed to use in COVID because there's contamination from here apparently.
You got a booster, you're fine.
Treat it like one of your markers.
You know, but I own my markers.
No, treat the mic like one of your markers.
Throw it.
The older markers.
So throw it when you throw it.
You see?
I'm all that way.
We could give you like a handheld microphone, you could totally be like,
Oh, my hands.
Oh, use Angela's gold mic. Or the one with the
Totally.
Oh, no, I need special permission for that.
Yeah, you didn't see it. Our presentation, she was the journalist handling the case, and she had like a cake with gold, like emeralds on it.
Wow.
We could bring that mic in
That
for
was
you.
a big hit during the presentation.
I borrowed it from my daughter.
Well, my grandmother, let's see what she says.
Yes, I might have to ask her.
All right, here we go, stay with me. It's 1980, the world is falling apart, and a whole new generation of economists have come. It's another paradigm shift. So Keynes has been going great. We are shifting gears now, and what's the right time? Yeah, good, excellent. And so engineers, scientists coming from the University of Chicago, Rochester, Minneapolis. Milton Friedman was their intellectual ancestor. Milton Friedman from Rutgers, I have to say this every time. I told you about the price, right? He was going to name the school, he objected. I told you that? No? So I said, so we were going to name this building. And I said, the Milton Friedman building. So we sent somebody to ask him, can we name this business school after you? He said no. You know why?
School of Economics, like it.
Yeah, no brainer,
Yeah.
right? No brainer. Montana would be nice too, but I'm still alive.
That's what it's gonna end up being, watch.
That classroom they named for me next door, by the way, is the worst thing they could have done because it's made me instantly unpopular with everybody in this building, so it's not a good thing. I don't know why, I said you should have waited till I died.
No,
I'm still
don't say
alive.
that.
No.
I'm still here.
You will be here forever.
This right here?
Okay, so you and
Moral
Prabhanjan
time.
can hang out on final exam day. You can hear them, you know, you can hear them. Did you try that pastry? Oh no, oh, you could have tried that pastry.
Why we are writing
We're
exams?
just like going crazy here. With 3-star gems. God knows what Josie and Sharice are going to send us for the final, God knows.
Give us a heads up, you guys.
Here we go. Oh, Milton Friedman. So here we are. He said, no, don't name the building after me because Rutgers didn't charge me the right price. They subsidized me when I was in College Avenue campus, Old Queens. So he said, Rutgers charged me this. State subsidized, so the state paid for that. You should let markets work. Price should be endogenous. Remember, he's from the Austrian school, free market, everything is this. So I said, not a problem. Told my dean, I will calculate to 2 decimal figures what he owes us. So he can then send us a check. Langdana can play, you got attitude, Langdana comes right back. It's the most annoying feature of me, you know. And so I said, oh, sure. He said, absolutely. You want to be there? We'll give you that. And so I Dean said, oh, come on. Just let it go. I said, fine. Then after a while, he goes, you know what? I was being a jerk, basically. He said, yeah, you know what? But he passed away. So that was that. Okay. Here we go. Stay with me now. Expectations augmented. So the whole world is about to change. Our world, the expectations augmented aggregate supply curve. So Milton Friedman was the intellectual forefather. Bunch of engineers, scientists coming out of the Midwest. So you have those economists called freshwater economists. Chicago and the Midwest. The Keynesians are called saltwater economists. You know, Columbia, Harvard, Rutgers, New Brunswick, California, Berkeley. So saltwater, freshwater in the middle. Freshwater economists go to the gym a lot. They wear sneakers all the time. They're always in a bad mood. They're very snarky. They come at people. Saltwater economists, Keynesians, I told you, tweed jackets, mild-mannered. All the Keynesians I know look like they've just been crying or they're about to cry. Weepy people, just weepy. If they don't get parking, they will cry. If the coffee is not too hot, they'll cry. It's just like they're about to break down any second now. Like, please don't cry. So here we are, fundamental assumptions. Stay with me. Do we have electrical engineers here? Any electrical engineers? Okay. Signal noise ratios. All right, so fundamental assumption comes out of some deep math. So what you're seeing in chapter 10, you're only going to find in the book. Fundamental assumption, asymmetric information. you're better off just sticking with me and listening right now. So the book is a great backup source. It's got a lot of information. So asymmetric information. So here we go in the current period. Suppliers, labor suppliers, which is workers. C, only changes in nominal wages. So capital W in the current period. They do not see changes in P in the current period. Let's talk about this. Let me just write them both down. Labor demanders, which are employers. See only changes. See.
No, they see both.
Thank you. Thank you. See changes in both capital W and P in the current period. So what do you think of this? I mean, so this is asymmetric information. So come on, Amir, after you finish copying, help me here. Guiomar, help me here after you finish copying. Suriti, what is this? Is this completely funny? Is this completely preposterous? Asymmetric information. So here we are, asymmetric information.
Well, the reason they do that is because they're seeing both sides where they're on the manufacturing with the purchasing side as well as on the price side with the wages, where employees are they're only seeing what's in there